Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, distinguished delegates, esteemed members of the bar and bench, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is both an honor and profound responsibility to welcome you to the annual Asma Jahangir Conference 2026, convened in the enduring spirit of a woman whose life and work continue to define courage, constitutionalism, and principled dissent, Asma Jahangir. Over the years, this conference has grown into more than a commemorative forum. It has become a space for serious legal reflection, where law engages with power, where constitutional promises are examined against lived realities, and where difficult questions are addressed with honesty and intellectual integrity. In doing so, the conference carries forward the very value that Asma Jahangir embodied throughout her life. This year, theme, the erosion of fundamental rights and resistance across borders, reflects a global moment of deep uncertainty across region, political system. We are witnessing a gradual but persistent narrowing of civic space. Fundamental rights are not always dismantled abruptly. More often, they are constrained incrementally through legal instruments, administrative measures, and narratives that prioritize order, security, or expediency over liberty and accountability. The international landscape offers sobering illustrations. In Gaza, the continued humanitarian crisis has placed international humanitarian law and protection of civilians under extraordinary strain, raising urgent questions about accountability, proportionality, and effectiveness of existing legal framework in times of conflict. These challenges resonate far beyond the region and compel the global legal community to reflect on the resilience of international law itself. At the same time, recent months have seen student-led demonstrations across universities in different parts of the world, reminding us that even in societies with long-standing democratic traditions, the balance between public order and freedom of expression remain contested. Such developments underscore the universal nature of the debate surrounding peaceful assembly and the right to dissent. Parallel to this, we are witnessing a growing reliance on digital technologies in governing and security framework worldwide. While the other tools are often introduced to enhance public safety, efficiency, and national resilience, they are also invite careful legal scrutiny. Questions of privacy, proportionality, due process, and oversight are increasingly central to contemporary constitutional discourse, particularly in an interconnected and technologically driven world. Collectively, these trends point to a reality in which challenges to fundamental rights are no longer confined within national borders. Legal norms, governance practice, and restriction, much like resistance, increasingly transcend geography. This places a heightened responsibility on legal professionals to engage with comparative experience and shared principle. Pakistan Bar Council, as co-host of this event, is an institution that has historically stood at the front line of constitutional resistance in this country. The legal fraternity of Pakistan knows, perhaps better than most, that the defense of fundamental rights is never a finished project. It is a continuous struggle, often costly, frequently lonely, but always necessary. As a member of the bar, we don't merely interpret the law, we inhibit its consequences. When constitutional promises are betrayed, it is a lawyer who are silenced, detained, disqualified, or delegitimized, precisely because an independent bar remains one of the last barriers against unchecked power. Asma Jahangir understood this truth instinctively. She did not treat human rights as an abstract ideal, nor the Constitution as decorative document. She treated both as living instruments of resistance to be invoked, defended, and when necessary, fought for. She challenged dictators, Democrats alike, refused the comfort of neutrality in the times of injustice, and paid the price for speaking truth to power, repeatedly, fearlessly, and without apology. Today, when we speak the erosion of rights, we must be honest enough to acknowledge that this erosion often occurs from within constitutional framework themselves. Court, legislatures, executive institutions meant to safeguard liberties can, through excess, silence, or complicity, become instrument of restriction instead. This reality places a special responsibility on the bench and the bar. The judiciary is the guardian of fundamental rights, but guardianship demands courage, not convenience. The bar equally must resist the temptation of factionalism, silence, or selective outrage. The two remains, as always, the twin pillars upon which constitutional democracy stands. Let us be clear, resistance does not mean chaos, dissent does not mean disloyalty, and criticism of power is not hostility to the state. It is fidelity to the Constitution, which has no room for the sponsoring of terrorism by one state against another state, as Pakistan has suffered recently in Balochistan and Islamabad. At a time when rights are shrinking globally and resistance is increasingly criminalized, forums like the Asma Jahangir Conference matter more than ever. They remind us that history does not remember that those who remained comfortable, it remembers those who stood firm. Asma Jahangir belonged to that history. As we commence Asma Jahangir Conference 26, I urge all participants, jurists, scholars, activists, students, and friends from across borders to engage honestly, speak fearlessly, and disagree respectfully. On behalf of the organizers and the Pakistan Bar Council as co-host, I warmly welcome you all and look forward to the deliberation ahead. Thank you very much.